Hey, you guys. How are y'all doing? I'm at home today. I am excited about what we're making and hope to see some of you guys pop on here soon. I'm tackling a subject I don't know a ton about. Hasn't been a big part of my life in terms of avoiding gluten. For a while, my son, hey there, my son was avoiding gluten to try to help with his symptoms of Crohn's disease. And so I started playing around with gluten-free flours and we kind of got away from it. But we played around with a few desserts because he has a sweet tooth. And this is one of them that I came up with. And we get lots of questions about gluten. It's really important. And I know that a lot of folks need to avoid it. And so we wanted to start tackling a few gluten free dishes. So I've got a couple of you guys here, and I hope the sound is okay. See if somebody can check in on me. And then we're going to get started because these come together in a snap really, really fast. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is a cookie that I make really often. I started making them for my son and I kept making them because they're good. And normally it calls for almond flour, which I love and we use a lot of in the shop. Um, Hopefully, Reagan or somebody will pop in the comments here. But one of the gluten-free desserts that we make often, um, because it's gluten-free, but also because it's delicious, is our almond cake. And so we use quite a bit of almond flour. And someone can paste that into a comment because that is our go-to cake for our jams and jellies class. We make it lots of times for our farm tour, and it's a Dory Greenspan recipe, which you kind of can't go wrong when you lean on Dory Greenspan for a baking recipe. So that's typically the almond flour is what we use in that cookie. And almond flour is light in color and makes a beautiful cookie. But we're going to use a different ingredient today, a local ingredient, and it is pecan meal. So, pecan meal is ground from local pecans. And this particular pecan meal that we sell a ton of is from Gidry Organic Farms. And we sell their pecan oil and we also sell their pecan meal. So this is a great gluten-free product. And this is also something folks on keto come and grab for keto diets. Thank you, Jennifer. Cameron's going to post the almond cake. Um, Cameron could also make the almond cake with his eyes closed. We've made it so many times, but it's a keeper for sure. Okay, these come together in a flash. It's a tiny batch too. It makes 12 cookies. So just do your math if you want a big batch of them. But this is all about one little batch, one pan of cookies, and you're done. So in our mixer is my pecan meal. So that almond meal is very light beige color, and your pecan meal is much darker. So you're going to end up with a dark cookie. Um, so that 1 cup of pecan meal goes in your mixer. You get that all in there. And then it's 3 tablespoons of softened butter. And this is classic shortbread ratios here. And the softer your butter, just the faster this is going to come together. So I've got softened butter going in, and then 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. So you want to check your package on powdered sugar and just make sure that the starch they use is gluten free, and the package will say gluten free. But you can make powdered sugar. You can put granulated sugar. I find it happens easiest in a Vitamix, but in your food processor, you'll get there. And you blitz that sugar and it'll finally grind it into powdered sugar. And then you have no starch in there. But typically, powdered sugar is cornstarch and sugar. So just be aware, just read your label. They're not all gluten free. So I've got 3 tablespoons of butter, quarter cup of powdered sugar, 1 cup of pecan meal. I'm going to go in with about a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, a good flaky salt, and this is celery. This my everyday salt is celery. It's my favorite. And then we need extract. Did I bring my extract over? We'll put that in after everything is put together, but I'm going to do vanilla today. You can do a combination of almond and vanilla, or really any extract you want. But I'm out of almond extract, so I'm going to use vanilla. Okay, so on it goes. And I have to turn it on. I have to plug it in, which is super cool. There we go. Okay, I want to show you what happens here. So it looks super dry and it looks like it's never going to come together. And I promise you, it will. So super, super dry and chalky. You're going to be like, what are you talking about, Anne? And just let this paddle attachment keep doing its job and you will get there, I promise. All right, back on. Here I am. And then we're just going to power through this and make it come together as a dough. Okay, let me get some extract in here. So it's starting to pull together so that essentially that sugar and butter is melting together. And the fat, and there's fat in the pecans as well, is starting to moisten everything. So now here goes extract. I'm going to do a teaspoon of this. This is our puree, and it's super thick. But I'm going to get that teaspoon in here, get that zhuzhed around, and then we're going to make these cookies. Okay. Get that mixed. Okay. So that's it. And I'm going to show you how much dough this is because it's not a lot. It doesn't look like anything, but it makes 12 little cookies and they're delicious. That's it. You can always double it, triple it if you want more. So what I do is I roll them in balls because this is a thumbprint cookie. So I roll them in balls and then they get a dredge into a big sugar. Like I'm using our ginger sugar today. So they get a dredge in sugar. So turbinado sugar, just a finishing sugar. So I'm going to get that ready and I'm going to roll some of these. And then these go, your oven should be preheated to 350. So really small, you guys. Let me do this so you can see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So really small. They get a roll in the sugar and then they go in the pan. And this whole batch is going to go, I'm going to stay close up so you guys can see this whole batch goes on one pan and then you're done. So just enough for you and a couple of folks to enjoy for dessert or with tea, or the perfect batch to make for a friend who lives a gluten-free lifestyle. Just 12 cookies. So I'm going to make a few more of these, but it's all the things that are happening here. That little crunch of salt in the cookie, that nice bite from the sugar on the outside, the richness from the pecan meal, which is a really different experience from the almond meal. It's definitely richer. It's almost like umami a little bit. It's definitely meatier, if a cookie could be meatier. But a really different experience. And I love playing around with this product. Okay, that one's too big. So don't do that. You won't do that. Your cookies are going to be perfect. That one's too big. So my friend Sarah Joy at Counter Space Bakery in Baton Rouge, she would weigh these. She would not like my method here. Every one of her cookies is exactly the same. Okay, I'm just going to do two more, and then I'm going to do the thumbprint start part. Okay, let me get that rolled in sugar. And then I grabbed it's a jam from my fridge. Of course, it's GrinningJupiter. She makes all of our jams and jellies at the shop. She's local. Her name is Ashley, and you'll want to cook along with her because she's teaching a Zoom class coming up very soon, and they can paste that in comments. You know what? Let's just chat for a moment. Let me just knock these out. So you want to take that class with Ashley because you're going to make a pineapple pepper jelly with her live on Zoom. We're going to send out copious instructions prior to. You're going to know what, that was a dryer sheet. You're going to know if you want to buy the equipment, we're going to give you that information, but chances are you have what you need in your kitchen in terms of a pot and tongs and maybe one of those collapsible steamers that will get you that rack in the bottom of your pot. But you can make pepper jelly with Ashley on an hour Zoom class. Super fun. You need to join in that class. And then, of course, you want to have cream cheese and Ritz crackers to eat the pepper jelly. And we do eat warm pepper jelly, but you're going to process them and everything so that they can, you're going to preserve them so that you have them for a while. Okay, I'm going to get dough on this iPad. It's going to be all right. Okay, let's see about these cookies. Okay, we can see that better. So, thumbprint. I do an actual thumbprint. So, I'm going to go in and thumbprint these guys. And then super specific with a cookie this size, I know the tendency is want to load it up with jam, but for real, y'all, 1/2 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon. That's it. Okay. How adorable is that? So we were talking about getting kids in the kitchen. This is a great one for kids. It's just enough dough. It's not overwhelming. Like, I don't want to roll any more cookies. I don't want to cut any more cookies. 12 cookies and you're done. Plus, the ingredients are so simple. You definitely can get older elementary, middle schoolers. They need to be doing this on their own in the kitchen. Okay, my little thumbprints are ready. Here I come with I have GrinningJupiter's. This is strawberry jam, and I don't have a spoon. Hang on. I'll be back. Okay, so strawberry jam. We want to, yep, that's a 1/2 teaspoon. So just a 1/2 teaspoon in each one. And then these are going to bake for 8 minutes. They're going to be brown on the bottom. You want to gently lift them to make sure they're brown on the bottom. The Mine wanted like maybe puffed a little bit. It might have been my imagination because there's no leavener in here. But they're not going to they're going to want to fool you. First of all, this is a dark nut flour, and you're going to think, "Oh, they're not done," because they are going to be so soft you can't handle them. But after they sit on the pan, they set up and they're gorgeous. So 8 minutes, just peek on the bottom. If it's browned, you're done. Go ahead and pull them out. But know that you cannot move them. That's a sad little dollop of jam. What happened there? Let's add some more. That one might be a problem. I did too much. Um, but don't move them, and then they're going to set up. So I don't know what y'all think of that. That's a pan of happiness right there. Okay, 8 minutes. Y'all, that's my whole batch. I did it beginning to end with y'all. I rolled them all, ran my mouth, and we've got this beautiful pan of cookies, just the perfect amount. And let's see how I did. So, weird thing, there's only 10 cookies on this pan. Can't imagine what happened. So, they're brown and beautiful, and we're going to get them loaded up to serve. So let me get these. They're cooled, handle perfectly, lift right up off. Oh, parchment. Definitely do parchment on your pan. If you don't have parchment, do a piece of foil. They really don't cooperate on the pan. So here they go on my little board. So we just posted this recipe on the website, and it is written with almond flour because that is my recipe that I made for years and years. Yeah, spice. Jennifer saying a spice elf ate them. Maybe that's what happened. So it's written for almond flour on the website, and we're going to make a note that you can sub out the pecan flour. But yeah, so you would just sub it out. So now we've got these dark brown cookies with this great dollop of jam. You're going to play around with the kind of jam you have on hand or that you like. I love what the colors did here, but let me give them a taste and see which one do I want. This one's a little big. Okay. Mm. So here's what I love about this cookie. So it's called a shortbread because of the ingredients that are in it, but it doesn't necessarily have the snap of a shortbread like a pecan sandy you get at the grocery store or a shortbread you make with wheat flour. But it still has those same very basic buttery components. But this is a chewy cookie. So the first thing you get is a beautiful crunch from the sugar. And then this pecan meal has a little bit of bite to it. It's chewy, it's nutty, obviously, but definitely not a flour consistency. It's definitely chewy and has a good nutty bite to it. And every few seconds, I get that little bite of salt. And it makes me so happy. So, ginger sugar, strawberry jam, pecan flour, shortbreads, thumbprints. So good. Make these now and let us know how they were. I want to know what you put in the thumbprint, what jam, what jelly. So good, you guys. Love that. Mm, I want those for breakfast. Okay. Super fun. Love you guys. Love doing this. I'm not that sorry about talking to you guys with my mouth full. So thanks for putting up with me. I am also on Facebook Live on Thursdays at lunch-ish, where I do a progressive tasting of 3 things. And when I think about tasting 3 things a week, I will never run out of content. If you've ever been in our store, there's so many things to taste. So I love doing this with you guys. Super fun. I hope you make these. These are up on the website. And I will see you guys next week. Have a great day. Wear your mask. And we'll see you soon. Bye. Love you.